Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Tanvi Taneja with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches platform for transparent taxation, honouring the honest. Next phase of direct tax reforms for easing compliance and rewarding honest taxpayers unveiled. Prime Minister says with faceless assessment the taxpayers assured of fair, courteous and rational behaviour. COVID-19 recovery rate in the country crosses 70%. Government distributes over 3 crore N95 masks and 1 crore PPE kits to states and union territories. And heavy rains lash Delhi NCR since last night. Several areas waterlogged, traffic disrupted. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the tax system in the country is becoming faceless and it will give the taxpayer a feeling of fairness and fearlessness. Launching transparent taxation, honouring the honest platform through video conference in New Delhi today, Mr. Modi said tax administration should solve problems instead of confusing the taxpayer and everything from technology to rules should be simple.
देश में चल रहा स्ट्रक्चरल रिफॉर्म्स का सिलसिला आज एक नए पड़ाव पर पहुंचा है. ट्रांसपेरेंट टैक्सेशन, ऑनरिंग द ऑनेस्ट, 21वीं सदी के टैक्स सिस्टम की इस नई व्यवस्था का आज लोकार्पण किया गया है. इस प्लेटफॉर्म में फेसलेस असेसमेंट, फेसलेस अपील और टैक्स पेयर्स चार्टर जैसे बड़े रिफॉर्म्स हैं.
He said identities of the taxpayer and the tax officer should not matter at all. The Prime Minister said the effort is to make tax system seamless, painless and faceless. He said honest taxpayer plays an important role in nation development. Mr. Modi said while it is the responsibility of tax officers to deal with taxpayers with dignity, people should also consider paying taxes as their responsibility. He said taxpayers' charter is a big step in the development journey of the nation. He added that it is a step towards bringing together rights and duties of the taxpayer and fixing the government's responsibilities towards the taxpayer. The Prime Minister said in the last 6 years the government focused on banking the unbanked, securing the unsecured and funding the unfunded. He said during this time India has seen a new model of governance developing in tax administration.
बीते 6 वर्ष में हमारा फोकस रहा है बैंकिंग द अनबैंक, सिक्योरिंग द अनसिक्योर्ड और फंडिंग द अनफंडेड. आज एक तरह से एक नई यात्रा शुरू हो रही है. ऑनरिंग द ऑनेस्ट, ईमानदार का सम्मान. देश का ईमानदार टैक्स पेयर राष्ट्र निर्माण में बहुत बड़ी भूमिका निभाता है. जब देश के ईमानदार टैक्स पेयर का जीवन आसान बनता है, वो आगे बढ़ता है, तो देश का भी विकास होता है, देश भी आगे बढ़ता है.
Mr. Modi said today every law and policy is taken out of the process and power-centric approach and emphasis is given to make it people-centric and public-friendly.
आज हर नियम कानून को, हर पॉलिसी को प्रोसेस और पावर-सेंट्रिक अप्रोच से बाहर निकालकर उसको पीपल-सेंट्रिक और पब्लिक फ्रेंडली बनाने पर बल दिया जा रहा है. ये नए भारत के नए गवर्नेंस मॉडल का प्रयोग है और इसके सुखद परिणाम भी देश को मिल रहे हैं.
The Prime Minister said it is the new governance model of the new India and the country is getting good results from it. Mr. Modi said looking at the commitment towards the reforms, the confidence of foreign investors is also increasing continuously towards India. He said arrival of record foreign direct investment to India even during the corona crisis is an example of it. The Prime Minister said new arrangements, new facilities starting today strengthens government's commitment to maximum governance. He said it would strengthen efforts of reforming and simplifying India's tax system. The Prime Minister also unveiled the next phase of direct tax reforms aimed at easing compliance and rewarding honest taxpayers to boost Indian economy. Prime Minister said amidst all the reforms introduced by the centre, the number of people who have filed income tax returns has increased by about 2.5 crores in the last 6 to 7 years. He, however, said it is also true that in a country of 130 crores and it is still very less.
ये वृद्धि तो बहुत बड़ी है, लेकिन इस बात का हम इनकार नहीं कर सकते हैं कि इसके बावजूद भी 130 करोड़ के देश में ये बहुत कम है, बहुत कम है। इतने बड़े देश में सिर्फ 130 करोड़ में से 1.5 करोड़ साथी ही इनकम टैक्स जमा करते हैं। 130 करोड़ में 1.5 करोड़। मैं आज देशवासियों से भी आग्रह करूंगा, जो सक्षम है उनको भी आग्रह करूंगा, भिन्न भिन्न करके व्यापार उद्योग के संगठन चलाते हैं उनको भी आग्रह करूंगा। इस पर हम सबको चिंतन करने की जरूरत है, देश को आत्मचिंतन करना होगा और ये हमारा आत्मचिंतन ही आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए आवश्यक है, अनिवार्य है।
Our correspondent reports faceless assessment taxpayer charter starts from today and faceless appeal to begin from September 25th, the birthday of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. Commenting on the newly launched platform for transparent taxation honouring the honest by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Kumar Mangalam Vijay, partner J. Sagar Associates, said proposed reforms launched by the Prime Minister to simplify assessment and appellate process coupled with initiative to provide pre-filed return forms to taxpayers are steps towards making the process technology-driven and easy to comply for a common person. He said government has rightly increased the thresholds for appeals to be filed by the revenue to reduce litigations. These steps, he said, may significantly improve the direct tax to GDP ratio in going forward after reforms are fully implemented. The launch of the platform for transparent taxation honouring the honest by Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a historic step in tax administration, said Secretary General of FICCI Dilip Chenoy today. He said this will primarily benefit the honest taxpayers and FICCI welcomes the charter and transparency that has been brought in. On behalf of FICCI, Mr. Chenoy said that as appealed by the Prime Minister, FICCI too urges people who fall in the tax bracket and those who evade tax to pay their tax on time and contribute in the development of the country.
The government today said more than 70% of the total corona-affected people in the country have been cured and discharged. The Union Health Ministry said the recovery of over 16,95,000 patients has been made possible because of the policy of testing aggressively, tracking comprehensively and treating efficiently. During the last 24 hours, 56,383 people have been recovered. COVID-19 recovery rate has scaled another high of 70.77%. The active cases has also been reduced and currently comprises only 27.27% of the total positive cases. The ministry said India has one of the lowest COVID-19 mortality globally with less than 2% case fatality rate. It said as a result of the supervised home isolation and effective clinical treatment, many states and union territories have lower case fatality rate than the national average. The government has distributed more than 3 crore N95 masks and 1 crore 28 lakh PPE kits to states, union territories and central institutions. The Union Health Ministry said the government has been providing medical supplies free of cost to the state and union territory governments to supplement their efforts. Most of the products supplied by the centre were not being manufactured in the country in the beginning. The rising global demand due to the pandemic resulted in their scarce availability in the foreign markets. It said with the combined efforts of the Ministry of Health, Textiles and Pharmaceuticals, DRDO and others, the domestic industry has been encouraged and facilitated to manufacture and supply essential medical equipment like PPEs, N95 masks and ventilators. As a result, the resolve for an Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India has been strengthened and most of the supplies made by the Union government are domestically manufactured. The ministry said more than 22,000 Make in India ventilators have been delivered to various states, union territories and central institutions.
National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration for COVID-19 deliberated on strategy to ensure COVID-19 vaccines availability and its delivery mechanism. They met for the first time yesterday. The meeting was chaired by Dr. V.K. Paul, member Niti Aayog, along with Health Secretary as co-chair. The expert group deliberated on conceptualization and implementation mechanisms for creation of a digital infrastructure for inventory management and delivery mechanisms of the vaccine. They discussed on broad parameters guiding the selection of COVID-19 vaccine candidates for the country and sought inputs from Standing Technical Subcommittee of National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization. The group delved on the procurement mechanisms for COVID-19 vaccine, including both indigenous and international manufacturing, along with guiding principles for prioritization of population groups for vaccination. The expert group discussed on the financial resources required for procurement of COVID-19 vaccine and various options of financing the vaccine. Chennai in Tamil Nadu is witnessing less than 1,000 new cases of COVID-19 every day for the past 6 days continuously. Its active caseload has come down to nearly 11,000. It is about 20.7% of the total active caseload in Tamil Nadu. Meanwhile, many frontline warriors have contributed to the coming down of active COVID-19 cases in Chennai. One such important group of warriors is the postgraduate medicos. Here's a report from our correspondent.
Hundreds of postgraduate student doctors were deployed in COVID-19 wards and care centers. Some of them contracted the SARS-CoV-2 virus in the process. However, they bounced back to work immediately after the recovery and the mandatory quarantine. The postgraduate doctors have been relieved of their clinical duties as they are awaiting their examinations now, says the Madras Medical College Dean Dr. E. Therani Rajan with appreciation.
People who are doing MD General Medicine, MD Anesthesiology, MD Chest Medicine, those PGs have contributed their maximum in managing COVID patients. They were the first frontline doctors who treat these COVID patients in our hospitals. Their involvement and dedication is well appreciated.
The service might have helped the doctors in gaining a lot of hands-on knowledge about the challenges thrown out by the new and elusive virus. The selfless service of the postgraduate medicos would be remembered with gratitude by all. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
In Rajasthan, the recovery rate of COVID patients has risen to 74%. The mortality rate has also fallen to 1.47% from 1.55%. Our correspondent reports that with 608 cases being reported today, the total number of infected persons has increased to 56,708.
More than 1,100 people are being tested positive every day from last 15 days in the state, but the recovery rate has also increased by about 4% during this period. The mortality rate has remained less than 1% in the last 10 days. The state government has claimed that plasma therapy has proved to be 100% effective in the treatment of serious patients of corona. The therapy is being used in Jaipur, Jodhpur, Kota, Udaipur and Bikaner medical colleges. Plasma banks have also been set up in Jaipur and Kota. A public awareness campaign has been launched by the government for plasma donation. Meanwhile, more than 18 lakh samples have been tested in the state so far. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Telangana, the total number of COVID-19 cases reported so far reached 86,475, with 1,931 fresh cases reported in the past 24 hours. As per the State Medical and Health Department report this morning, 1,780 more people recovered from COVID-19, taking the recovery rate to 72.93%. With this, the number of people recovered in the state rose to 63,074. Also, 11 more people lost their lives yesterday, taking the total COVID-19 toll to 665. In the Union Territory of Chandigarh, COVID-19 cases are on the surge, with 81 people testing positive yesterday. Our correspondent reports with this, the total number of positive cases so far in Chandigarh has risen to 1,751, out of which 1,023 have been cured and 700 are under treatment. 26 patients have died so far in the Union Territory.
Head of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Nyas, Mahant Nritya Gopal Das, has been tested corona positive. He was attending Janmashtami function in Mathura yesterday, where he was diagnosed with fever and mild breathlessness. AIR Lucknow correspondent reports that Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has taken details of the health status of Mahant Nritya Gopal Das. Chief Minister also spoke to District Magistrate of Mathura and followers of Nritya Gopal Das. In Mizoram, the state government has decided to purchase 10,000 more rapid antigen test kits to increase the testing capacity. Chief Minister Zoramthanga announced this yesterday at a meeting of top officials and representatives of NGOs, churches and doctors' associations. Officials said that the meeting has also decided to enforce the existing safety protocol more strictly in the wake of surge in COVID-19 cases. Meanwhile, the state has found a single positive case for coronavirus in the last 24 hours, while 7 patients recovered from the infections yesterday. With this, the total number of COVID-19 cases in the state has reached 649. According to the official statement, 330 patients have been discharged after recovery, and presently 319 patients are undergoing treatment.
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Dr. Nand Kumar, Professor of Psychiatry, AIIMS, suggested to people to stay at home as much as possible, spend time with family members and practice yoga.
Stay at home, spend time with the family, do household works, exercise, listen to music, sing with the family, do yoga, meditation, and take care of emotional need of the family.
Dr. Anvita Agarwal, resident infectious diseases AIIMS, advised people not to be negligent and stay at their homes.
Coronavirus may be invisible, but the number of people affected are very much visible, and the numbers are increasing from day to day. Don't be negligent. Please stay at home.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight, will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Professor Tanuja Nesari, Director, All India Institute of Ayurveda, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on the FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches platform for transparent taxation, honouring the honest. Next phase of direct tax reforms for easing compliance and rewarding honest taxpayers unveiled. Prime Minister says with faceless assessment, the taxpayer is assured of fair, courteous and rational behaviour. COVID-19 recovery rate in the country crosses 70%. Government distributes over 3 crore N95 masks and 1 crore PPE kits to states and union territories. And heavy rains lashed Delhi NCR since last night. Several areas waterlogged, traffic disrupted. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Russia and Brazil have agreed to cooperate in the production and marketing of the world's first registered coronavirus vaccine, Sputnik V. In a statement, Russian Direct Investment Fund said that the agreement was reached with Brazilian state of Paraná yesterday. As part of the signed Strategic Cooperation Agreement, RDIF, together with pharmaceutical companies in the state of Paraná, is organizing the production of Sputnik V vaccine and its distribution in Brazil and other Latin American countries. On Tuesday, the Russian Health Ministry registered the world's first Sputnik V vaccine for the prevention of COVID-19. Australia's second largest city, Victoria, showed a decline in new COVID-19 infections today. As stated by Premier Daniel Andrews, there were 278 new infections and 8 new deaths, down from around 700 daily at the peak of the outbreak. Daniels said that the lower numbers indicate the lockdown restrictions in Melbourne are working, but urged people to stay the course. Meanwhile, neighbouring New South Wales state, which includes Australia's largest city, Sydney, recorded 12 new cases and 1 death. In the Asia-Pacific region, South Korea has reported 56 new cases of coronavirus as new infection clusters continue to pop up across major cities. The figures announced by South Korea's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention brought the caseload to 14,770 infections, including 305 deaths.
Nearly 214,985 new coronavirus cases were reported worldwide over the past 24 hours, and the total tally reached 20.1 million according to the World Health Organization (WHO). At the same time, 4,835 new coronavirus-related fatalities were registered globally over the given period, taking the overall death toll to 737,417. The WHO declared the outbreak of the new coronavirus a pandemic on March 11th. Back home in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the Bandipora police have busted a terror funding module of Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, and arrested 3 people. 4 lakh rupees of cash has been recovered from the arrested persons and 1 lakh credited in bank accounts has also been seized. As per investigations, the arrested persons were in touch with their handlers in POK and had received 14 lakh rupees, out of which 9 lakh rupees have been distributed for financing terror activities in the districts Bandipora and Kupawada. A case has been registered under relevant sections and further investigations are on.
The Government of India, through the Office of its Principal Scientific Advisor, has now officially sanctioned the Pune Knowledge Cluster with the goal of connecting organizations with high level of expertise in diverse domains of science and technology, innovation and entrepreneurship in and around Pune. While addressing online press conference in Pune, Premier Director of Pune Cluster Professor Ajit Kembhavi said that this is among the first city-wide clusters that has been approved by the Office of the PSA. Similar clusters for Hyderabad and Jodhpur were also approved at the same time. A report on the projects of Pune Knowledge Cluster from a correspondent.
Among the initial small-scale projects that are to be developed and executed by Pune Knowledge Cluster, along with awareness programs and outreach activities, will be studying and improving the tree cover of Pune, study and modeling of last-mile connectivity by e-transport, viral epidemics, and other healthcare issues. This knowledge cluster will also take up pilot studies leading to projects on a much larger scale to improve the quality of life. Several larger project proposals have already been developed, keeping in mind issues related to the COVID-19 pandemic and the need for and the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Nitin Kelkar for AIR News, Pune.
In the run-up to the 74th Independence Day celebrations, we bring you today a special story about the several initiatives for J&K, Ek Desh, Ek Vishwas. It has been about only a year that the Article 370 was revoked in Jammu and Kashmir, but it has already started reaping the benefits of being out of isolation. Our correspondent reports that the large-scale projects and schemes undertaken by the centre in the fields of infrastructure, health, education and employment have started giving positive results.
Jammu and Kashmir, supposedly the heaven on earth, has a past and history. For over half a century, it could not grow to the full height and glory. There are some political historians who believe that it was deliberately kept away from the fruits of development and self-reliance as it served the purpose of corruption, benefiting only few politicians. The biggest obstacle in the way of development of the entire region and the easiest tool for hiding corruption had been Article 370. It was done away with by the Parliament last year. Now the absence of this article, which separated the region from the rest of the country, thereby promoting separatist tendencies, has opened the floodgates of substantial development of Jammu and Kashmir. One can hope that despite challenges thrown by the COVID-19, the fast-paced implementation of these schemes will usher the people of Jammu and Kashmir in a new era of prosperity in the true spirit of Ek Desh, Ek Vishwas. Naseem Naqvi, AIR News, New Delhi.
In Karnataka, the 74th Independence Day will be celebrated with all precautions needed to prevent the spread of coronavirus pandemic. The Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagar Palika Commissioner N. Manjunath Prasad informed media persons today that the public will not be invited to witness the celebrations. He added that cultural programs and march past have also been done away with. More from our correspondent.
The Independence Day event is restricted to Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa receiving the Guard of Honor, hoisting national flag and delivering his Independence Day speech. The highlight of the national event this year is special invitation given to 75 frontline corona warriors and 25 patients who have recovered from coronavirus. Only 500 persons, including people's representatives, defense personnel, senior government functionaries and media, are invited this year to the event. For the convenience of the public, live telecast of the event is arranged in Doordarshan and live streaming through a webcast. Those invited are asked to wear masks and maintain social distancing. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Manipur, the Patriots' Day is being observed today, commemorating the 1891 Anglo-Manipuri War, during which many Manipuris sacrificed their lives to safeguard the independence of the state. In the state function, the Chief Minister leads the people in paying floral tributes to the martyrs of the state at different places of Imphal. This year, the day is being held without involving the general public due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
In view of the growing cyber crimes in the state, Uttar Pradesh government has opened 60 new cyber crime police stations in different cities of the state. Earlier, there were only 2 police stations in Lucknow and Gautam Budh Nagar. AIR Lucknow correspondent reports that to check growing cases of crime in the virtual domain, state government has decided to open cyber station police stations in 16 cities, and a proposal related to this was passed by the state cabinet. 2 days back, government had decided to publicize the phone numbers of these 18 cyber police stations so that the victims of cyber crimes can approach police easily. Former President of the United States Barack Obama on Tuesday backed the nomination of Senator Kamala Harris as Vice President candidate for Democrats, saying that she is more than prepared for the job and it is a good day for America. Obama's reaction comes soon after Democrats' presidential candidate Joe Biden announced Indian origin Kamala Harris as his running mate. Prominent Democrats, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and former President Bill Clinton, have tweeted to give the nod for Kamala Harris as Joe Biden's running mate. Pelosi and Harris will continue her legacy of trailblazing leadership to move our nation forward. Bill Clinton called Harris a terrific choice. Former Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton also said Harris will be a strong partner for Biden.
Continuing with the Vande Bharat mission to evacuate the stranded citizens from abroad, an Air India flight left the Hazrat Shah Jalal airport at Dhaka for Delhi with 167 Indian nationals today. This was the 7th evacuation flight from Dhaka to Delhi. The first evacuation flight under the Vande Bharat mission for the people stranded in Bangladesh due to coronavirus pandemic had taken off from Dhaka for Srinagar on 8th of May. Since then, close to 2,800 people have been evacuated from Dhaka aboard Air India flights for various destinations in India. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has announced that India will fund the implementation of Greater Malay Connectivity Project through a $400 million line of credit and $100 million grant. This 6.7-kilometer bridge project connecting Malé with Gulhi Falhu Port and Thilafushi Industrial Zone will help revitalize and transform Maldivian economy. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said, today he had a warm and fruitful discussion with foreign ministers of Maldives, Abdullah Shahid. Both leaders agreed that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought the two nations even closer.
National capital Delhi witnessed the heaviest spell of rains this monsoon season today. The rains inundated low-lying areas and threw traffic out of gear. According to the India Meteorological Department, IMD, the Ayanagar weather station in the city recorded 99.2 millimeters of rainfall, the maximum in the city during the 24-hour period ending at 8:30 this morning. Vehicles moved bumper to bumper during the morning rush hours as the downpour led to heavy waterlogging at the key road stretches. The downpour also brought down the rain deficiency in the national capital. Delhi has recorded 7% more rains than normal in the monsoon season so far. Heavy to very heavy rains lashed isolated parts of Mumbai and neighbouring Thane, Palghar and Raigad districts in the last 24 hours. The Met Department has predicted more showers in the Konkan and Ghat region and some areas of central Maharashtra over the next 24 hours. The IMD has also predicted moderate rains in Pune and adjoining areas in the next 5 to 6 days and said that till today the state has received 8% more rainfall than normal. The forecast suggests that the state is likely to get good rain till August 27th.
Now let us take a look at today's weather update. In the national capital Delhi, minimum temperature will be 27 degrees Celsius while maximum temperature is expected to be around 36 degrees with generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. Minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle and the minimum temperature will be 27 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected at 32 degrees. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature in the metropolis will be 27 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 33 degrees. On to north, the minimum temperature is expected to be 26 degrees in Jammu while maximum will be around 35 degrees. The city will be partly cloudy with possibility of rain or thunderstorm. In Srinagar, mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Minimum temperature will be 20 degrees Celsius while maximum is expected to be around 33 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches platform for transparent taxation, honouring the honest next phase of direct tax reforms for easing compliance and rewarding honest taxpayers unveiled. Prime Minister says with faceless assessment the taxpayers assured of fair, courteous and rational behaviour. COVID-19 recovery rate in the country crosses 70%. Government distributes over 3 crore N95 masks and 1 crore PPE kits to states and union territories. And heavy rains lash Delhi NCR since last night. Several areas waterlogged, traffic disrupted. And with that we end the midday news.